parole date was 10/17/22. Her discharge date, good time date is 10/10/32. Full-term date is 8/29/33. She is a fifth felony offender, and she is serving 31 years, 5 months, and 13 days for the charges of manslaughter, simple arson, and aggravated arson. Does that sound correct, Ms. Roberts?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Before we get started, just a little bit of house cleaning. You know, we have a lot of people here today. I am going to try not to cut anyone off. I know everybody has a lot to say. So, you know, but try to keep your comments brief if you can. If you can't, we will bear with you. Sure. We want you to get everything out that you came here to say. Okay. First off, Ms. Roberts, tell me why you think you should be considered for parole today, and what did you do to get in jail?
Mr. Freeman, if I could just quickly interrupt. Sorry, Micah Sloan. I'm an attorney representing Sharon Roberts. I'm an attorney with the Louisiana Parole Project. Ms. Roberts does have some intellectual deficits that make it difficult for her to fully express herself and to articulate. But it was really important to her that she get across to the board her feelings of remorse. And what she's done is she's written down a letter expressing that. And I wonder if the board would allow her to read that letter before we begin questioning. I know she would appreciate that opportunity. I think it's important that it be in the record.
That's no problem. I'm sorry I missed you, Ms. Sloan.
No problem.
And you can help her out anytime you want during the hearing. Okay? I will get to you for your statement also at the proper time.
Actually, so Ms. Roberts has two attorneys today, and I'm going to allow Ms. Hannah Rose Gordell to do this statement later. But I'll be here if she needs any support.
Okay. All right. Ms. Roberts, read your letter then if you would like to.
To the Gaspard family, I'm sorry that I caused the death of your mother. There's not enough words to explain the remorse I feel for my crime and the pain and suffering I've caused your family. I was wrong for doing this, causing Amy's death, and I'm ashamed. Every day I think about the loss I have caused you. I wish I could turn back the time and change what I did. I hurt for you, all of you. And even though words would never be enough to accept for what I did, I am really sorry. Thank you.
Okay. All right, Ms. Roberts. Well, tell us, why do you think you should get out today?
For the past 23 years, you know, I accept, you know, what I did. I was wrong. You know, I'm an alcoholic, and I went through programs. I did a lot of schooling. I got back my education back. I did my schooling. I did AA, and I'd like to continue doing my AA, substance abuse, and seeing a social worker. You know, my actions, what I did was caused by the death, you know, Amy Gaspard.
And what did you do? I mean, how did this happen?
Because I was involved, I was drinking, and I was involved with drugs with another acquaintance that would come over, and I would leave and get drugs for him and leave and get alcohol and come back and get more pills to sell so I could get alcohol.
Okay.
And I threw a cigarette on the floor and just left it there. But I never thought it would get out of hand.
Okay, we'll get into that. Your case was assigned to Mr. Barra. When it's his time for questioning, we'll get more involved into the exact incident. Okay, now we're going to hear from your supporters, Mr. Andrew Hundley of the Parole Project. Mr. Hundley.
Andrew Hundley, representing Louisiana Parole Project, to inform the board that if Sharon would be granted parole that she is a client of our organization and we would accept her into our reentry program. Just a few notes on why we accepted her. We recognize and are well aware of her criminal background. However, due to her age and her demonstrated maturity over the last 20 plus years, we are impressed with the person that she has become and have confidence in her ability to transition if given a second chance. She has no disciplinary offenses in the last 13 years, so she's demonstrated that she could follow rules, and she has had an array of programming that she has continued to take on even to this day. She served over 2/3 of her sentence at this point, and because of changes in the law, this could be her last parole hearing before good time discharging. So we asked the board to consider that she could, um, now's an opportunity for the board to grant her release with some conditions before she has an eventual good time discharge. If she would be released to our program, our staff social worker, one of our staff social workers, Audrey's here to tell you about the interviews and the plans that our social work team have made with her around her sobriety and other mental health issues, and that we're prepared to offer her if she's released. But she would be a long-term client in our residential reentry program. We would help her find employment and start working towards long-term self-sufficiency. In short, our organization has great confidence in her ability to come home, and we're standby invested with skin in the game to ensure that she has the support she needs to be successful if given a second chance. And I stand by to answer any questions you may have about her reentry. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Hunley. I just want to note for the record that we have Mr. Hunley, he's with the Parole Project. We have Miss Audrey Barton, she's a social worker. She'll be giving us, she'll be speaking next. Hannah Rose Brodell, I think you're gonna do the part of the attorney instead of Miss Sloan, or if y'all want to do it together, that's fine. Beatrice Taylor, a friend. Christy Sheremy, Louisiana Parole Project, Stephanie King, a friend, and Demetri C. Moore, Louisiana Parole Project. In opposition, we have Tanya Gaspard, victim sister-in-law, Paula Beret, I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong, victim's friend, Guy Dessel, victim's family, Isaac Guillory, victim's family, Mandy Guillory, victim's daughter, and Patricia Bush, victim's friend. I will call on y'all also at the proper time to make your statements. Also, Warden, what do you have to tell us about Ms. Roberts?
Good morning. Sharon is one of our minimum custody inmates. Like she had mentioned, she has gone back and finished up her schooling, and I think that was quite a success for her, which we are very proud of her for that. She works as a healthcare orderly, and like Mr. Hunley even said, she has not had a write-up in over a decade, so no disciplinary issues. She really is wonderful about coming to work and pitching in where she needs to. So we really do not have any issues, and we fully support. If she's granted today, I know she'll do well at the Parole Project.
Okay. Thank you, Warden. Appreciate that. Okay, Ms. Barton.
Hey, good morning. My name's Audrey Barton. I'm a licensed master social worker with the Louisiana Parole Project. I met with Ms. Roberts on July 2nd to conduct a needs assessment. The social workers evaluate all of our clients, but Ms. Roberts' legal team suggested that she might benefit from some additional one-on-one time. I initially met with Ms. Roberts at LCIW for 2 hours, and then last Friday I spoke with her via Zoom. Both times that I've met with her, she was very cooperative and friendly. Ms. Roberts' legal team informed me that she was in special education during her school years, and based on my conversations with her, I've observed some symptoms consistent with an intellectual disability, which might give us some insight on her ability to effectively express herself. I'm aware of her previous charges, and I've spoken with her about the behaviors related to these acts. Ms. Roberts experienced trauma during her adolescence and early adulthood, but she has engaged in efforts to process and heal from these experiences to the best of her ability and has developed tools to manage her feelings of anger. Ms. Roberts reports on maintaining 23 years of sobriety and appears committed to her continued recovery and personal growth. As an additional step of her reentry plan, I will refer her out to individual therapy. The social work team here has a relationship and referral process with Excel Behavioral Health. Excel has a team of psychiatrists, social workers, and counselors that have committed to provide Ms. Roberts with therapy focused on impulse control and decision making. Ms. Roberts has expressed openness and willingness to work with me and follow all treatment recommendations that I gave her. I'm confident that she has the capacity to comply with any recommendations given to her. And of course, if Ms. Roberts is released, she will have ongoing support from a dedicated social work team committed to walking with her every step of the way. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, and last we'll hear from her attorneys. I don't know which one wants to speak first.
All right, I think Miss Christy Jeremy wanted to speak as well, if the board will allow, before Miss Grodell speaks.
Who's that now?
Christy Jeremy.
Okay, we didn't have you down to speak, but Ms. Jeremy, would you like to speak?
Yes,
Ma'am, go ahead.
I think there was might have been a little discrepancy on how many people were already speaking. I think that's why it was changed.
Could be, yeah, we're not supposed to have over three, you make
Good
one, go
morning,
ahead.
board, and I appreciate this opportunity. My name is Christy Sherry, and I'm the reentry manager at the Louisiana Parole Project. I'm here today not only in that position, but as someone who has personally known Sharon for over 3 years. Sharon and I spent 16 years together in prison. I've been home a little over 6 years, and throughout all of that time, I've known Sharon to be consistent, respectful, and generous. Even when she had very little, she was always willing to give. Whether it was her time, a kind word, or support to others around. She has always carried herself with humility. She stayed focused, avoided trouble, and surrounded herself with positive influences. Most importantly, Sharon has taken full responsibility of her past. She doesn't talk about it often, but it is clear that she carries deep remorse for her actions. And that remorse has led to her growth. Now at 60 years old, Sharon is committed to her sobriety, grounded in who she is, and is prepared for a new chapter. If granted parole, she will enter Louisiana Parole Project's reentry program immediately. She'll have stable housing, a support system, and a structure needed to help her to succeed. I'm also going to be her case manager, and I'll be here to help her adjust and move forward day by day. Starting over after decades is not easy. I know that from experience. But I also know when someone is ready. And Sharon definitely is. She's done the work, and she has people who believe in her. And if granted, we await her release. I believe in second chances when they're earned. And Sharon has done just that. She is ready to live a quiet and stable life, one built on accountability and community support. And I just want to say thank you all for your time and consideration in this matter.
Thank you. Okay, and now we'll hear from her attorney.
Thank you. To the honorable members of this committee, my name is Hannah Rose Grodell. I'm an attorney with the Louisiana Parole Project, appearing before you today to request the parole for Ms. Sharon Roberts, who at 60 years old has served more than 75% of her sentence. Sharon Roberts has transformed and today seeks not just release, but the opportunity to rejoin society under structured supervision and with the full backing of a deeply invested support network. Ms. Roberts has difficulty speaking openly about her past, not because she doesn't take accountability, but because the pain of what she did is still very present. It is painful for her to talk about causing the death of someone she loved. Her struggle to communicate stems from the deep shame she carries, the grief she feels for the Gaspard family, and the toll her actions have taken on her own life. But those of us who know Ms. Roberts, her legal team, our social workers, and the women she lived alongside for decades have seen firsthand the depth of her remorse. So while you may not hear it in the same way you do in other cases, you can see it, and she feels it. Ms. Roberts was placed in special education as a child and still recalls being labeled a slow learner. She has always struggled to understand and express things the way others do, and over the years, trauma and poverty compounded those challenges, leaving her vulnerable and without many tools to advocate for herself. Yet despite those obstacles and the tremendous pain she has carried, Ms. Roberts was determined to change and has spent the last 23 years doing just that. Ms. Roberts' record demonstrates discipline, growth, and perseverance. As you've heard, in 2019, she earned her GED, a milestone that took time, effort, and determination. She held the same maintenance job for 18 years, demonstrating reliability and responsibility. She has completed every rehabilitative program available to her. She is 23 years sober and has worked tirelessly to maintain that sobriety through ongoing substance abuse programming and weekly AA meetings. She has learned to manage her emotions. She's not received a disciplinary infraction for over 13 years. She's liked and well respected within LCIW, earning herself a level 3 trustee status. And perhaps most importantly, she has formed strong and supportive relationships, creating for the first time in her life a sense of trust, safety, and belonging. The letters of support submitted on Ms. Roberts' behalf describe her as one of the most selfless people others have known. This is the Sharon Roberts before you today, a woman who is loved, changed, and now devotes her spare time to volunteering with her elderly peers. We are not here to suggest that Ms. Roberts' past should be forgotten, nor do we believe it ever could be. Rather, we ask that you consider her present and her future. She has proven she's not a danger to the community. She is committed to continuing her recovery. She understands she used to use alcohol to numb her pain and gave in to impulsive reactions, but today she relies on healthy coping skills. Ms. Roberts is also eager to work, something she takes great pride in. She's surrounded by a strong network of supporters who will continue to hold her accountable, care for her well-being, and want to see her succeed. Releasing Ms. Roberts on parole rather than through good time will allow us to ensure she receives the full scope of our services. We've created a detailed reentry plan tailored to meet her particular needs, including access to licensed counselors, a personalized sobriety plan, job placement assistance, and monitored stable housing under the care of Christy Sheremy, who knows and understands Ms. Roberts well. Having intellectual deficits, living through trauma, and struggling with alcoholism does not make someone dangerous. It means they need support. And Ms. Roberts now has that support, and she's shown she's ready to use it. At 60 years old, with over 2 decades of demonstrated growth, accountability, and rehabilitation, this moment represents not just an opportunity, but the right time for Ms. Roberts' release. Today, Sharon Roberts comes before you not as the person she once was, but as a woman who is humble, changed, and ready to live her days in peace, sobriety, and service to others. So for these reasons, we respectfully request that you grant her parole, and thank you very much for your time.
Okay, thank you. Okay, now we're gonna go to those in opposition, and y'all can speak in whichever order y'all want to go to, so y'all choose who wants to go in.
This is my mother. The person who's not here today because of her. Happy, healthy, full of life. And I'm here today to speak on behalf of her because she was tragically, brutally murdered 2 days before her 44th birthday. September 14, 2002 was the worst night of my life. Sharon Roberts, my mother's killer, set my mother's trailer on fire, knowing she was inside. That monster entered the bedroom, seeing my mama sleeping in bed, and deliberately went in the living room and ignited a fire where she had no way to get out of there. She was trapped. She wanted to make sure she was in there and she would die. After I was informed that that body, they had to identify her body, I felt an overwhelming sense of emptiness because part of me died that night. The loss of my mother has been devastating. It has been incredibly difficult. The pain is unbearable. It has led me to commit suicide, and I almost attempted, but God's keeping me for some reason. I have to take medication every day to cope. Since I've learned that she wants to get on parole, I've been sick, mentally and physically sick. I can't eat or sleep or do anything else. I shouldn't be going through this right now because the sole reason of agreeing for her to plead Oregon to manslaughter was that she would have no parole. So this was a bomb dropped on me a couple months ago. So I started digging and digging and digging, and the things I have found would make your skin crawl. She doesn't need to be in society. She's in danger. She's great in jail because she's confined. She doesn't know how to live outside. She's been in and out of jail her complete life. The time that she was out of jail, she committed a crime to go right back to jail. Arson. And it was all places that had dwellings that were occupied. She could have killed over 30 people that I myself have calculated. They should have, they have a 3-strike rule. I don't know what happened to that. She has 5 felons. 5. She should have life in prison. The biggest regret I have right now is that I didn't go to trial and fight for the death penalty because this was premeditated. She went in several times. This BS about her alcoholism. How are you going to be an alcoholic when you're in jail all your life? Honestly. October 1st, 2002, she was scheduled to be back in reincarcerated. But she was 11 months late on her probation fees. She couldn't afford probation. How she's going to afford vodka or whatever else she's got going on? That's a lie. She's not an alcoholic. She's trying to use that. The same time, October 1st, my mama was moving in an apartment for disabled people that felons were not invited to. My mama wanted her out of her house. My mama was scared. I have statements from many people of Falls Ferry that she would tell that she was scared of her life from Sharon and wanted her out. She's no remorse. This, I don't even know what that was today, but okay. My mother was so burnt. Her hands were burnt to the bones. She got out of the bed. She knew when you have fire, 40% is fatal. She had 86%. She fought for her life. She knew what was going on until she took her last breath. I've had so much pain and suffering. My kids have felt it. I've never had a real life after that. Never. I have nightmares. I want my mama all the time. I wanted her here. I called for my mama here. I'm 49 years old. She died at 43. When I was 43, I wanted to die because it wasn't fair that I was alive and she loved her. And I went again and ask you, do you think that this repeated violent felony offender should live in the free world? She's too dangerous. She is just too dangerous. Her history proves it. She does not need to be out of jail. And as soon as she does, she's gonna repeat this and kill another innocent soul. You can't go from doing something all your life to just shutting it out. And the only reason why she hasn't done it in the last 23 years is because she's been fined. And that's what I want to tell you. And this, I want to let you know, is the last Christmas with my kids. This is my son. This is him whenever he lost his grandmother. This was my daughter. I had to tell her for her birthday, your grandma's dead. Because my mama's birthday, my daughter's birthday, and my mama's birthday is right after each other. And this is the second time she tried to kill my mama on her birthday. And I do have a picture, I don't know if y'all can see it or bear it, of my mama burned. How bad it is, I don't know if y'all want to see it, but it's bad.
We got a lot of stuff in the record.
It's horrific.
Yes, ma'am.
And she knew about it this whole time, and she could have gone back and saved my mama's life, but she didn't.
All right, thank
An
you.
animal. An animal. This is my son.
Okay, okay, and state your name and if you want to tell us.
Isaac Hillary,
Yes, sir. Okay, go ahead.
son of the victim, Amy Gaspar with my grandmother. Unfortunately, I was only 2 years old whenever my grandmother was taken. Not only is Sharon Roberts murderer, she's also a thief. She robbed me of my grandmother. I didn't get a chance to say and know her. I don't even know what she sounds like. The only reason why I know what she looks like is because of pictures. No videos. She robbed me. I never had the opportunity to know, oh, was she the grandmother that would fatten me up and give me money, or she was strict, mean, I would never know. And given the fact of her past, of Miss Sharon, like my mother said, there's no way with someone with that, again and again and again, multiple accounts of arson and possibly could have killed other people, that should not be on the streets. And I agree with my mother, that there's no way that she shouldn't just get 30 years, she should get the death penalty, in my opinion. Is it gonna work? Will my opinion matters to that? No, of course not. But the fact of the matter is, someone like that does not belong on the streets. That is just a hard, she's gonna hurt someone. It might not be the next day, might not be within the first week, but I can tell you within at least a month, someone's gonna get hurt because of her going out on the streets. And to say that childhood trauma has to do with the way that she acts, I call BS. My father is an alcoholic, abusive drunk. He even abused me, my sister, and my mother. Did I go kill someone? No. Do I do drugs? No. That's an excuse, and it's not worthy of an excuse. That's not fair. You can't say, oh, I was abused as a child, let me go kill somebody. That's no excuse. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, and Miss Patricia Bush.
Hey, my name is Patricia Bush, and I'm a friend of Amy Gaspar. She had an inner beauty that is unforgettable. She was a trusting friend and most importantly, a loving mother. Mandy Gilbert and a grandson, Amanda and Isaac. When she spoke of her daughter, she had a ray of sunshine. She had so much life and so much love to give. And on September 14, 2002, Sharon Roberts said to her, to Carteen's home and took the life of Amy Carteen Gaspar as she slept. Amy Carteen did awaken and was unable to escape. That day, she not only took Carteen's life, but the quality of life for her only child, her grandchildren, her brother, father, and siblings. The loss of Mandy's mother, which was also her best friend, is forever altered. The grief, fear, anxiety, depression, and all the tears that Mandy and her family has endured will continue, for nothing could ever fill that void in their lives. Excuse me. It's been 23 years, maybe this is tomorrow, at the graveside. And many days, a week, she's there recently. Sharon Roberts also set fire to my parents' home. I've seen with my mother, stepfather, brother, and sister, nephew, been through, and Sharon Roberts set fire to their home. February 19th, 1990. And this was shortly after she had gotten out of jail. That she had supposedly was to serve 5 years, and she may have been out 3 months when she set this fire. It wasn't an accident, she purposely said. She knew they were sleeping, and she set that fire that day. My mother was at the hospital with my stepfather that had to undergo surgery, knee surgery. And thank God in heaven, my nephew woke up. And when he woke up, we went to get water. When he opened the door to the kitchen and living area, it was an older house, it had a very long. And he yelled because it burnt his hand. My brother jumped up and he went to the door. And when he pushed the door, the home went into flames. My family, my brother, my sister, and my nephew got out without any bodily injury. But the emotional trauma remained. That's something that you can't, My parents worked very hard for what they had. They were seniors. You can never recover everything that you lost. I had to go to the hospital that day to let my mother know that the house had been burnt down. Everything was gone. But my brother, sister, and my nephew's life. I took them home. They came to stay with my house. I was able to hospital. And my mother came back home, and my stepfather, they came to my house. My mother cried uncontrollably. Everything that they worked for and all their security was forever gone. They had the clothes on their back with no answers as to what to go. I seen the tears, anxiety, depression, and emotional stress as I went with myself to see my family and my mother suffer in her senior years. Each time Sharon Roberts committed arson, it was planned. It was never. She knew what she was doing. She knew people were in the homes as she set the fire. She had left that home that day, knowing she couldn't stay there because my parents were coming home. And she left that day. But when she left, she made sure that no one was going to stay at home. And she succeeded. She has a history of arson and has disrupted and destroyed so many lives, hopes, and dreams. I plead the Lord that she not be granted the Lord. She is a continued threat to society. She, at the time we didn't know Sharon had been committed this crime. And she actually showed up in my home. And I told her I had to go to work. And when I went to work, I came home early to check on my parents to see how everything was going. And she walked up to me with a glass of cola with ice. And as she gave it to me, I went ahead and I drank it. I became so ill. I went to my bed. When I got out of bed, I was crawling. My mother made me weigh 100 pounds. She was a very small person. My brother, my stepfather had just had me surgery. My brother had to pick me up, and I had to bathe the sick medical care. Later, she asked me to go. Oh, she able. She told my brother she put something to drink. I just say that she doesn't deserve to be in the streets. And I hear what they say. But I plead with y'all today, save life. Save someone else. Thank you.
Okay, now we're gonna move on into the interviewing stage. Mr. Byright, you've been assigned the case.
Ms. Roberts, how many fires have you lit?
3 of them.
3? And why were you lighting the fires again?
Out of anger.
Anger. That's the only questions I had. I do know that you had 4 periods of probation or parole already, and all 4 of them got revoked, which is not a very good record. And that there's strong opposition from law enforcement. That's all the questions I have.
Just real quickly, Ms. Roberts, you do have a lot of revocations. What's your problem under supervision? Why can't you follow our instructions?
I have no place to go, and I just revolt.
Okay.
I have no support.
Ma'am?
I had no support outside. I mean, out there, and had no place to go.
If you burn it down where you're supposed to be staying, it's kind of tough, so. All right, I have no further questions. Panel ready to vote? Yeah, okay, Mr. Byright.
Ms. Roberts, I've read the letters of support. I've read the letters of opposition. I've read the parole projects letters and all of that. You're doing well in jail, and I commend you on that. However, I got to vote to deny this parole request because of the strong law enforcement opposition, the strong victim opposition, your criminal history while on supervision, 4 periods of supervision already revoked. You haven't convinced me that anything would be different.
Ms. Leduc?
My vote today, I just want to know there are 277 pages in one file and 30 in another. And I've read everything. I've listened intently. My vote today is to deny parole based on prior criminal history, prior unsatisfactory supervision. He pled down from 2nd degree to manslaughter, and opposition by all interested stakeholders.
Okay, and you already know the outcome, but my vote would be the same. We're lucky we only have 1 victim. Very lucky we only have 1 victim. So your parole's been denied today. Good luck to you.
Should criminals like this even have the opportunity for parole? Please let me know what you think in the comments below. And if you like this video, please hit subscribe for new videos every week.